A concept that I actually learned from Tim Ferriss about 5 or 6 years ago was that a lack of time doesn't really exist. Like, there's no such thing as a lack of time. We don't have a lack of time. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. It's about how we decide to use that time. And so another way to look at this is we don't have a lack of time. What we actually have is a lack of priorities. All we can decide to do is focus on specific things in the time period we have. So that's like an overarching concept that I just need you all to kind of keep in the back of your minds before we dive into this. The second thing is that within those priorities, most people prioritize based on time. So they prioritize based on how much they can cram in a day or what particular thing feels like it's most important right now. What I would encourage you all to do would be to prioritize based on attention. So I'll tell you what I mean specifically by that. So prioritizing based on time is like, hey, what thing feels most time sensitive, or how much time do we have to complete this thing? And the reason that's a bad way to prioritize your time is because a lot of the time that's somebody else's priority that's been forced onto you. So a client's or whoever you're dealing with in your team. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you prioritize based on time, there's something called Parkinson's law, which basically says that work will expand to fill the time allocated to it. So if you have half a day to complete something, it will take you half a day. If you have 2 hours to complete the same thing, and you know there's a hard deadline, there's no extension on that, you have to have that project delivered, you will deliver it in 2 hours. So if you prioritize based on time, then what you'll find is your work will expand to fill that. So my invitation to you, first of all, is to look at your priorities. And then second of all, is to prioritize based on attention. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So let's talk about this concept of priorities. How many clients do you think you could serve simultaneously, like at the same time, at like a high level of service? So leaving them feeling delighted and happy with your work. Just give me a number in a chat. How many clients do you feel like you could serve at once to a high level? So they're like happy, they're delighted. 3, 4, 1, 2 to 3. Okay, 2 to 3, but I feel like it should be 7 or 8. Okay. There's one person that's in a lot of trouble here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take that number and we need to minus 1 from it. Whatever number you just typed in the chat, you need to minus 1 from it. So the reason is in big trouble is because that leaves him with 0 clients. Why do we need to minus 1 from that number? Where do you think my thinking comes from there? Yeah, because you are a client. Exactly. Nailed it. Your business should have the same attention, time, and energy dedicated to it as you dedicate to your clients. So if your capacity is 4 clients, then your capacity really is 3 because you are the 4th client. This thinking alone will transform your business. If you only take one thing from today, let it be the concept that you are as important as your clients. So when we say we don't have time, the reason we don't have time is because we haven't created it. We've prioritized our clients over our business. So then the next question becomes, well, let's say I want 10,000 a month in revenue and I got 4 clients. So each client is worth 2.5K, right? Then it's, well, if I have to minus 1 from there, where does the extra revenue come from? And that revenue exists from those clients. If you want to build a business that gives you freedom, that gives you fulfillment, that gives you time, you're much better having a low number of clients that pay you high ticket prices than having a medium or a large amount of clients pay you low value. But if you start to understand this concept, if you start to see your business in terms of numbers, so how many clients do I want to service per year that will give me the space and the time to work on my business, that won't mean I'm working 10, 12, 15 hours a day. Once you know that number and you relate it to an average project value, you don't have a choice anymore. You can't take on clients that are below that number, because as soon as you do, you've lost the game. You can no longer win it. As soon as you take on a client below that value, the sums don't add up anymore, unless you then find a client which is double that or triple that. So what it allows you to do is have this baseline, this minimum that you can take a project on for. And when you decide that that is what you charge and that's what you're worth and everyone can go somewhere else. When you actually draw that line in the sand and you're brave enough to say that, then clients either find the money or they go somewhere else. So I just want all of those of you that have put time in that box to acknowledge that you need to create the time in your calendar. For the way that you book out meetings with your clients, you need to book out meetings for yourself. You're doing it right now. You are working on your business right now. You just need to make this a priority, and you need to make it the same, you need to give it the same amount of attention and energy that you give your clients.